Today, I want to speak about something that often gets mixed together. People talk about intuition, they talk about the higher self, they talk about spirit guides, angels, and loved ones in spirit. But not every inner signal comes from the same place. And when we don't understand the difference, it becomes very easy to misinterpret what we are experiencing. So, in this reflection, I want to explore the difference between instinct, intuition, the higher self, and guidance from the spirit world. Because clarity around this changes the way we listen to ourselves. Let's begin with instinct. Instinct belongs to the survival system. It is shaped by biology, by the nervous system, and by the environments we grew up in. Instinct reacts quickly. It can protect us from danger and help us respond to situations without needing to think. But instinct is not always true. Sometimes instinct simply repeats patterns that we learned earlier in life. For example, someone might instinctively avoid conflict because that was necessary in their childhood environment. Or someone might instinctively feel anxious in certain situations because their nervous system learned that pattern long ago. So, instinct can be useful, but it is often connected to survival and conditioning. And then there's intuition. Intuition is different. It is usually quieter. It appears as a subtle inner knowing. Sometimes it is simply a sense that something is aligned or not aligned. Sometimes it appears as clarity about a situation before the mind has fully analyzed it. And this is where confusion often begins. Many people confuse instinct with intuition. Fear fear can feel convincing. A strong emotional reaction can feel urgent and powerful. But urgency is not the same as truth. I'll repeat it one more time. Urgency is not the same as truth. Sometimes what feels like intuition is actually the nervous system reacting from an old pattern. And sometimes the signal is not even coming from within you at all. If, for instance, you're someone who is very energetically open, but not protecting your energy, your field can be porous. And in that state, you can begin to pick up impressions, emotions, or sensations that do not actually belong to you. You may suddenly feel heaviness, anxiety, or negativity and assume it is your instinct or your intuition. But those sensations may not be yours. They can come from other people around you who are carrying strong emotions, and sometimes they can even come from denser or lower vibrational energies in the spiritual world as well. So, what someone believes is an inner signal may simply be something you're absorbing from your environment. This is why energetic awareness and protection matter. When the field becomes clearer and more contained, it becomes much easier to recognize what is truly yours and what is not. And very often, intuition is the way the deeper wisdom of the higher self reaches us. The higher self is not separate from who we are. It is a deeper level of our own awareness, a wider perspective of our life beyond the immediate reactions of the mind. Guidance that comes from the higher self has a particular quality. It tends to be constructive. It supports growth. It brings clarity rather than confusion. And it even when it invites you to change something in your life, it doesn't come with pressure or fear. It brings a sense of calm, direction, and inner peace. And then there is guidance from the spirit world. Everyone has access to this connection. Some people consciously develop communication with their spirit guides, angels, or loved ones in spirit. But many people receive guidance without even realizing it. Sometimes people experience sudden insights or ideas without knowing where those impressions are coming from. And guidance can reach us through intuition, through clarity, or through moments of insight that appear unexpectedly. But this is where discernment becomes important, because if someone is not aware of different sources of guidance, it can become confusing. Fear can be mistaken for intuition. Instinct can be mistaken for guidance. External energies can be mistaken for inner truth. And sometimes a message from the spirit world can be mistaken for the voice of the higher self. Even loved ones in spirit still carry their personality. If someone was very opinionated in life, they may still be opinionated in spirit. So sometimes what feels like guidance might simply be a strong personality of your loved one expressing their perspective. And there's another aspect that is important to understand. Some people open themselves spiritually without understanding what they're doing, and they become like an open antenna. They receive impressions or messages, but they are not always aware of where those signals are coming from. Just as there are many different kinds of people here on earth, there are also different kinds of energies in the spiritual world. And some energies are supportive and aligned with growth. Others can be heavier or fear-based. And this is nothing to be afraid of. You're always in your own power. But it does mean that discernment matters. It means that setting an intention to what energies you're opening yourself to matters. And spiritual development is not about opening yourself to everything. Like you don't listen to everyone else who's here living on earth. You're not going to take advice from a random person, anyone. You're very discerning, hopefully. So it's all about becoming clearer, clear in your energy, clear in your intention, and clear in what you allow into your space. Because when your energy becomes more contained, the signal becomes clearer. You begin to recognize the difference between instinct, intuition, external influence, and true guidance. And when that clarity grows, trust in your own perception begins to grow as well. Very often, the clearer we become within ourselves, the more we begin to appreciate something very simple: stillness, peace, the quiet space where the signal becomes clear. And this is something I will speak about more deeply in another conversation. But for now, it is enough to remember this. When your energy becomes clear and contained, guidance becomes easier to recognize, and trust in yourself begins to grow naturally.